how do we defeat the idea of the Einstein quote?
What do you want to do today?
We're making a paradigm shift to a different way of managing learning.
To open up to a new way of teaching.
It's just going to change radically their experiences just through their school life.
We're bringing hobby, interest and passion into the school. How do you plan for this sort of learning environment? You let the children come with their passion. The school's had a long heritage of encouraging children to be independent learners and to plough their own furrow in terms of where their learning might go. But we were looking to formalise that and to think through the pedagogy very carefully and to develop our thinking ourselves in terms of what really is going to be important for 21st century learners. We talked a lot about personalised learning, we talked a lot about skills-based learning, but the idea of negotiated learning was one that we hadn't come across. Essentially, negotiated learning offers the child an opportunity to co-construct their own curriculum, their own learning journey, and to have a significant impact upon the kind of vehicle and content that their learning is going to form.
The parents bring their children into the classroom, then they go to where the learning journeys are, and they help their children plan the first learning activity of the day. They then take their child to or the child actually takes the parent to the learning area they've chosen to work in, and they work together on their chosen activity.
Have you got any aliens in this book?
We've got aliens in the other book.
Okay, go and show me some aliens.
One of the main stakeholders within making this successful, of course, are the parents.
You really get to see what your child's interested in. And busy lives these days, parents work, and apart from parents' evening, you don't really get the chance to see what children are actually doing in school. Schools have never really before been that accessible. It sets the child up for the day. I think the child likes the fact that you're spending just that one-to-one time with them, doing something that they want to do. And you really get to see what they've learned, because you don't always see that. You don't get to know what your child has learned.
And in fact, rather than parental engagement, we're starting to call it family engagement, because we're experiencing here, especially within our school and its ethnic and social context, that the parents that are coming aren't parents at all. They can either be older siblings or uncles or cousins or grandparents. And so that delights us, actually, because we're finding that the whole community is getting involved in negotiated learning and coming into school with their child, whilst that child starts to plot their own learning journey.
Sound it out. Good girl. What does that say?
I think there's a lot of benefits for parents to come in early in the morning and spend some time with the children, because at home, like I've got 4 children, if we do any activities or if we read a book or if we do some cooking or anything, we do it as all of us together. But because in school I get that extra half an hour, 25 minutes, I can just read with her, have a one-to-one with her, do an activity with her.
Firstly and initially, the ability to stay with him for 30 minutes was a great opportunity to develop him into the school. It gave us both reassurance because I could see what he was doing, and he also had me there to guide around the room and different activities, so it was a great position for both of us.
I don't know who's more worried when children start school, the parents or the children, to be honest, but it's just gone so smoothly. And he's a lot more confident than normally it would take quite a sort of firm hand to get him on his own doing something. You'd have to kind of encourage him constantly and get him away from his brother as well. He didn't like to do things without his brother being there, and now he just seems like he's completely independent.
So the children actually take control of the curriculum, And so for a period of the day, they're determining what they're going to be studying, how they're going to be studying, who they're going to be studying with, what kind of resources they're going to need, whether that's physical resources or whether that's human resources, some coaching from a teacher. All of those factors will be very different. But of course, ostensibly and at first glance, it might look like any other teaching and learning environment. Really what's happening, of course, is that the child is starting to build their own set of skills. And so as we dig deeper into what you would see at school, you'll see children having conversations with staff members, with their family members, or maybe with one another, talking about exactly what they're going to be doing, the road and the routes that they're going to take in their learning journey. And that's a crucial part of what negotiated learning is and what makes the school very different.
We support parents right from the very start of the process. During the induction meetings that we hold for parents, we talk to them about our philosophy and the whole purpose behind learning agreement time. We talk to them about the value that they have in their children's learning and how important they are. We don't sort of say to parents, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right. What we actually do is we model for the parents. Not all the children have an adult with them.
That's absolutely fantastic.
So we would be working with little groups of children and the parents are watching what we're doing with those children.
What are the triangles for? Is it for the shape of it?
One of the other things that you would see that will be very different from another primary school will be that you'll see this very different practice that's taking place down at the foundation stage through years 1 and 2 of the school. You'll see that filter through a continuum across the whole school. And so as we move into Key Stage 2, you would see lots of examples of project-based learning also being driven by the child's passion for particular projects.
Another one of our favourite bits was this smart board. It's really fun. Learning agreement time is good because you do all your work independently, and then if you finish that, you can go on any educational thing that you would learn from and that you enjoy learning from.
And in learning agreement time, you can also start your own project that you have an interest in. Like I have an interest in geology and that sort of thing.
I found a link to this competition online where the children, a group of 4, could enter a journalism competition, and it was about new technologies in school. So I put it as a provocation question during the learning agreement time. Could you think of a way that you could use new technologies you use at home in school, and how would that benefit our class? How would that link into the curriculum, and how would that expand your learning?
Well, when we first heard about the project, we had to get into groups of 4, 3 or 2, and me, Josh, Austin and Raj, and we all grouped together.
And then we filmed about the Wii, which we could use when it rained for PE, like Wii Sports and Wii Fit and things like that.
They came up with the idea that quite often they have to miss their PE lessons because it's raining, and they hate this. And if we had a Wii in school, a Wii Fit, they could play tennis or whatever they wanted to within the classroom and still do their PE lesson and also have some fun.